For the opposition, the leadership of Mark Golding is on the ballot. Yes. The internal strife in the PNP is well known, no longer news. Mark Golding's leadership is going to be on the ballot because the comrades and the party's supporters are going to be using the local elections as a measure, an indicator as to how he's doing in terms of the rebuilding of the party and the motivation of its base, its grassroots base of support in the country. The local elections, and I suspect a measure of those elections, are going to be whether he can hold on to the parish councils now controlled by the PNP, St. Catherine, Westmoreland, and Hanover. If he can't hold on to those, St. Catherine, Hanover, and Westmoreland, he could be in a spot of bother. He could face a challenge to his leadership. At the same time, you pick up a certain level of apathy, a growing level of apathy across the country in terms of the politics. Times are very hard. People are hurting. But what is very clear at the same time is that the people are not turning to Mr. Golding and the PNP at all. It's as if, when the car does stall, you're not moving forward or backward, and we're waiting for something to give. That is my reading of the politics in the country. But Mr. Golding has time on his hands and has been going up and down the country knowing fully well what is at stake. His leadership is at stake come February next year. He's going up and down the country, which is his job, to mobilize the comrades, to get them motivated, to go to those polls whenever they are held. And on the weekend, I saw a video of him up in northwest Clarendon, in Thompson Town. And we have that video for you if you are on our YouTube platform. It's a little lengthy, but I want you to hear the full context of what Mr. Golding said, because he used some words that I think should never have been used. Never have been used. And I heard this morning a UA lecturer saying he didn't understand the context. Well, let me tell you, the context is Jamaica, what has been happening in Jamaica, where this country hopefully has turned its back on the politics of violence and the politics of force, where we chuck badness. We have had enough of that. And Mr. Golding and any other political leader, but Mr. Golding, who is the opposition leader, and the Prime Minister have got to be very careful in their use of language on the platform. While some of us will be smart enough and not take it literal and say, I'm just a running mouth, man. Love it, man. My running mouth. I won't act on it. Too many of us will do the opposite. And Mark Golding has had to apologize or to seek to clarify those comments. And he shouldn't, because he should have been well seized of the environment he's operating in. Can you imagine the opposition leader telling his supporters go on wicked, for go on wicked on their political opponents? No, unacceptable, Mark Golding. And we know you know better. But in your quest to be authentic, you're playing to the gallery. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't lower your own standards and values with the hope of gaining short-term political mileage. It is wrong. It is bad. We have had too many of our political leaders in recent times going down that road and will pay a price for it. Don't do it. You don't need to do it, Mark. You don't need to do it. This is what he said.
Your party needs you now. It's time to step up and get busy and get wicked on them too. But you think this thing will come easy? You're fooling yourself. It nah come easy. They're like, nah, give up this so easy. And the first thing, the first step in the journey, comrades, is to win back local government in the next election. When we do that, Jamaica, as I said, the table turned. But look, when the little boy Montague, you know, Minister Scandal Macaulay, because everywhere he go, scandal follow him. And he might talk about, yeah man, them love to see me in charge because they know so we can't win. Yeah man, go and talk them king there. Go and run and promote them way the minister scandal. Because me I go amongst the people, them, and when me talk the people, them know so we're real. And me know them heart, my heart is with them. And at them I come for serve. We don't come here so scream. We don't come here so we make no money out of politics. We done make my money already. There are big liar in this country, big investment banker. And the whole of them know none but politics. We know business and land. We don't set it already for me and my family. We come here so now we help the people them. And I'm lift the country, and build the country, and build the economy. So it's great. That's the man. Yeah, man. So people, may I beg you one thing, take this thing serious. Make some sacrifice to make it come through this time. We have built something together in our people. We have built that the thing for the People's National Party, for Jamaica land we love. We want to build a good society. The farmers have a proper government to support them. They must struggle right now, the fertilizer price, we don't hear how it gone. The government now don't know about that. We have to deal with them things, well, storage, them produce and market get soft on them not lose them crop, them not lose them investment and them work. Some of them think they might come and they don't max it out long time, you know, and talk about AMC, Agricultural Marketing Corporation, to take the risk they offer the farmer. And still protect the farmer from them things. Better irrigation, farm roads. These things are important. We have to uplift the people and give them a chance. They will do the work, give them the support. That will come for them. So people, I beg you, just get serious with this thing. Make the sacrifice, house to house. Every PNP, everybody who ever vote PNP and still alive. Make them come support the man in the Thompson Town Division. Make sure it's them win. Because we want that man for town mayor for the whole of Clarendon. We want back Clarendon. So comrades, we just want you, enough of you don't really know me, you know. Probably somebody has said me for the first time, I listened for the first time. We want you to understand who it is. See? Because John will represent heart of the PNP. Yeah. I'm proud of them. And them give me a strength. I'm not afraid of no guy in a parliament can't tell me nothing. I just 14 away in there. But the 40, how much are them 49 of them? Enough of them now, nothing to say. Enough of them just dead like some empty barrel and big peering knives. We're not afraid of them. Because we don't know what the law is about. Everything when they bring come, we don't penetrate, understand it, and see where it's lacking and where it's good. And we can talk for the people and make sure say what is done makes sense. And them listen. And sometimes them listen because they know say the real thing we talk. We improve the law and we are passed. Sometimes they don't want to listen and be pure foolishness. So that's sort of thing. But anyway, people, the word is love. Love every time. Yeah, man. We love the party. So we say, power to the people. Power to the people. Power. Power to the people. Yeah, man. One love, one heart. God bless you all. Thanks for coming to vision. Do it. Do it for the love. We're going to do it for the likes. Do it for the love. Yeah, man. Thanks for time. Come on, leader.
Mark Golding, the president of the opposition People's National Party, speaking in Jamaica last week, and you listen to it, and throughout it all, the connotation, the words, the tone, there's a very rough edge to it, almost violent. At a time when we all acknowledge that we have a serious problem with how we relate to each other, how we resolve our conflicts, how we resolve our disputes. That not sound right, Mr. Golding. The very tone and content, not right. Wrong message. Wrong message. That is the context. A Jamaica that is now bedeviled by its chronic failure of its people to resolve our differences peacefully. And when the political leader of the opposition delivers that kind of speech from the platform, it's not helpful. And Mark Golding must be made to understand that. In your quest to be authentic and to be relevant, that's not the way to do it. Lead. Pull them up. Not go down into the gutter with them. That is the burden of leadership now. The burden of leadership is to rise above that. And we know you're better than that, Mark Golding. Time for the break. Well, Mr. Golding obviously was feeling the heat as a result of his presentation in Thompsontown earlier in the week. And as a result of which he sought to clarify his comments. Yes? Because he was feeling the heat. And it's important, that some of us, I'd like to think of us being the sensible middle of the Jamaican body politic. The sensible middle, where we have to play a crucial role as a check and balance on their worst instincts. Because I don't know what it is, but we have seen so many cases of usually very mature, sober, rational people go berserk on a political platform. Give them a crowd and a microphone, and they lose all of that sense of maturity and balance and ability to think that Mr. Golding possesses. So he felt the heat, and he sought to clarify the comments on Saturday.
When I say it's time to get busy, time to get wicked, what I mean by that is get serious and put your shoulder to the wheel and don't take anything for granted and walk and talk and breathe with the people and greet the people and listen to the people and be humble among the people, because the people want leaders who are humble and who listen to them and who care for them. That is what I mean when I say those things, comrades. I believe in peace and love every time because I know that's what the people want.
And I really don't know how to take that. I'd like to take him at his word. But Mr. Golding used those words. Yeah? Not once throughout the speech. He used other words that could be seemed as also bordering on inflammatory. Yeah? No guy. In other words, chucking badness, beating your chest. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that, what I heard from Mark Golding. I don't know. What do you think? Not comfortable with it. Not comfortable at all.